Your podcast needs to be on YouTube. If it's not, you're way behind. I can't believe when people ask, should my podcast be audio or video? Of course it should be video. Make it video even if you don't know what to do with it yet, even if you plan on pulling the audio out for podcasting purposes, because if you don't have video for your podcast, you're missing out on the huge size of YouTube. You're missing out on YouTube Shorts. You're missing out on TikTok. You're missing out on LinkedIn posts. You're missing out on Instagram. And sure, you could put out those audiograms where it's the audio and there's like a moving waveform, but it's not as exciting, as interesting as you just being on video. I use OBS Studio to record a video like this, is what I'm using right now. I use Riverside to record my podcaster video. And there's always more that you can be doing, but podcasting is related to SEO, is related to social media, is related to building your network. And here's something that's really underused, really underrated. It's tagging your podcast guests on YouTube. And so few people do this. Like, here's someone who was a guest on my show who tagged me, right? And I believe that she made her own clips using Opus or Veed or Riverside of her being on my show. But I also make the clips for the guests. And out of all the comments I have, I get about 180 or 200 comments per month. So if I look at what I've responded to, and I respond to all of them, I get all kinds of comments just from the simple activity of me doing this. I go back and I follow up with my podcast guests. I say, hey, your episode is live. Here's where you can find it. Here's where you can find it on YouTube. And then here are some goodies. So I share with them a Google folder containing different images of what they said. Like, this is his picture and his contact details and a quote. And then there's also some reels in here. Like, there's this MP4 file. There's this clip. And there's also some pre-written marketing material. So here's a reel that he can use for TikTok and for LinkedIn, and that I will use as well. And then I also have things like promotional emails, like paste this into your list and it has the link already built in. But then what I say is, if this is all overwhelming, just do this. I say, here's a link to our episode on YouTube, and just grab one of these comments and paste it in. And so here's what's really interesting is that so few podcast guests even use this. They just look at this and they say, hey, thanks for having me on. But it gives them a good starting point. And sure, some podcast guests are so busy, they just hand it off to a virtual assistant who would otherwise get stuck or take too long, and the virtual assistant can just grab one of these. I'm trying to make it easier. Of course, they don't have to use these. Of course, they can change and improve them. But the point is, I'm making it easy for my own guest to promote the show. I give them swipe files. I give them swipe copy. And I also have had even better luck following up again and putting the YouTube comment right in there saying, hey, here's our episode. And this particular show, I think this is from like 6-7 years ago. So this is like years later. I'm still like, hey, I'm still promoting it. Maybe you can be too. And I say, click on this and just grab one of these 3 possible comments and leave a comment. And so on this one in particular, here's one of the episodes from before we started doing video, I think, but we didn't let that stop us, right? We put a still graphic and put the audio on there, but now it's all video. And he said, thanks for the conversation. So he kind of just like combined a few, but at least he left a comment on there. And so now, how does this benefit you podcast guys? Well, I would guesstimate that most YouTube videos have 0 comments. So even if you get 1 comment on your YouTube video, that's huge. And if you interviewed someone for your podcast, they created the content for you, and it's interesting that it's a 2-person conversation, but they need to be leaving a comment on their own video. And if you yourself have been on a podcast, you need to be leaving a comment as well. And so there is this concept with the Google gods called EEAT. Experience, expertise, authoritiveness, trust. And there's like this thing called the social graph, which means that you need to be associated with other players in your space. And so podcasting, it's a way for you to be associated, but now how do you officially get linked together? Could you add them on social platforms? Sure. Could you comment and like and reshare their posts? Sure. But what I really like to do is what Monica Badiou did in our other tab here, where there's all these people leaving comments, but the only person who tagged me did at Robert Plank, did at my username on YouTube. And so you should be posting 3 types of content on YouTube, right? There's the videos themselves, the long form videos. There's the shorts, which get a lot better views, right? For me, they get hundreds of views, and these are just like under 1 minute clips. And then you have posts, which are like blog posts or reminders for someone to go back and watch a video. They call this in case you missed it. And so you can tag someone in a short or in a video, but what I have done as part of my process here is I follow up with my guest, I say, can you leave a comment? And then I can look at my videos here and I can see some have 0 comments, but if I go back a few pages to the people that I've responded to more, this one has 14 comments, this one has 4 comments. So a few of these the guest has commented. If I click on this, so here's blaze.ai, and here we go, Adam P. Nathan. So at Adam P. Nathan. So what we can do is, because in the comments section, we now see his name is at Adam P. Nathan, we can go back and edit the YouTube video itself, and then where we say Adam P. Nathan, say at Adam P. Nathan. It helps if we spell it correctly. Okay, here we go, Adam P. Nathan. And so what does this do? Well, now he sees it, right? You saw I had my little mentions area, and I could potentially, if I was super thorough, I could go back into any shorts I have featuring him and tag him as well. But he will be notified, he will see this, and it helps everyone involved as well, because if someone is watching this YouTube video, right? The point of a podcast or a YouTube video is to get your immediate problem solved, but if there's more that you need help with, then we can expand this and we can go to his website. But then, of course, here is the at Adam P. Nathan, so we can jump over to his YouTube video and find out more about him and subscribe. And we should probably subscribe, right? Us as the podcast host, subscribe to our podcast guests' YouTube channels. That way we can support them and be friends with them. And so are you seeing how it's kind of connecting the social graph in this way? In that if you're just creating content and maybe there's like some guest names on there, and hopefully Google's AI will figure that out, make it easier on everybody, right? Make it easy on your guests to leave a comment. Make it easy on the Google gods to tag anyone in any which way, right? Link to their LinkedIn, link to their YouTube profile. That way you yourself are elevated and you're associated with these other business owners, thought leaders who have overcome the barrier of entry of appearing on a podcast. I don't know what the numbers are, but I would guess that most business owners have never even been on one single podcast. And if someone has been on a podcast or multiple podcasts, they're a professional speaker, technically. They're serious about their business, and that is someone that you should be associated with. So if someone's on your podcast, put your podcast on YouTube, follow up with that podcast guest, and give them materials to help promote the podcast episode. And they, of course, won't use all of it, but I think the most important thing, at least for me, what I'm focusing on is getting one comment from that podcast guest on their own YouTube video. That way we get some extra engagement there. And after they comment, find their username, because it's right there in the comment, and edit the YouTube description and place their YouTube username in the description for that YouTube video. That way you're better associated with them. And there's so many things that can and should be done with your podcast as far as following up, enlarging your social circle, raising your status, all these other things. And me and my team at DFY Podcast want to help you. We want to do the podcast production, the mundane busy work, right? You give us the video and we cut it up, we edit it, we add music, we add SEO, we add show notes, and then we upload it to your podcast host, post it to your website if needed, post it to your YouTube if needed, post it to all those social accounts that maybe you check but you don't post as regularly as you should, or maybe you haven't even logged in. When's the last time you logged into your Threads or your X accounts or posted on your Facebook page? Well, me and my team want to do it for you. Unlimited episodes, unlimited posting, unlimited social accounts, and now the focus is on you as far as building, finding, deepening your relationships, having these insightful conversations, having fun, and making some deals and talking to those people that are experts in your space and bringing their ideas to life and using your social platforms to do it, growing your list, all those other wonderful things. So dfypodcast.com is our resource for that. But don't forget this. Post your podcast on YouTube, follow up with your guests, tag them on your YouTube channel. Do it. You'll thank me later. And it's one of many things that you can and should be doing to increase your social status. Robert Plank, like and subscribe. Don't be a stranger. Talk to you soon.